How y'all doing? Y'all good?
Yeah.
Y'all ready to learn? Let's get them phones on silent. Matter of fact, let's get the phones like all the way like out of our sight for the next hour. Let's be completely present as we go throughout this training. We're privileged to have a guest speaker today. You know, we don't really get a lot of guest speakers here. So when we do get one, it's somebody who's doing something like powerful, doing something well. So she happens to be our very own Sibet.
Hey.
I know about her. I don't want to tell too much because she's going to get into her story, and she's also going to give us some tips on how she got to Tap Team. If you guys don't know what Tap Team is, that's Top Achievers Business. So that's like the top of the company in Herbalife. So she'll be giving us tips on what we can do, different tactics. I know different people here go about doing things differently. But she was somebody that went hard from day one. I met her through social media. From there, we was working. She was in the Bay Area. I was in LA. So we didn't even see each other, and we would still manage to build a business off of that. So now that we have a relationship, now that we're working together, now that she's Tap Team, me and Jenna Tap Team, it's like working super closely with her, just so we can all continuously move up as one team. So I'm not even going to get into more stuff. I just want to bring her up so she can get going. So everybody, please clap it up for new Global Expansion Team, Sibet. Let's go. Yeah.
Get it. I never make it.
Okay, I can't like which I'm supposed
Give me a signature to be.
What's up, you guys? How are you? And yeah, this is nice. I'm really proud of us. Like, this is big. From where we started, like, so a little bit about me, like the beginning. So I started the business 2 years ago next week. Crazy.
Yeah. That was a long time ago.
Wow. Okay. So yeah, 2 years ago next week. And like Patrick said, I found him on social media on Instagram. And this guy started following me. So this is the story. So this guy started following me, right? And I was like, this guy always liking my pictures. Like, who is this? And I went to his page and I kind of saw, like, because you know how you like go through followers, like see who you follow and whatever. So I noticed we had some mutual friends. I'm originally from Richmond, California. So I was currently still living in Richmond. And I was just going through like a really rough place in my life. I've always been a dancer since I was 3 years old. I've always been an athlete. I've been a triathlete since I was very, very, very young. And I had just graduated high school. I was like in my second year of college, and I was just really, really stressed. I was in an unhealthy relationship, not like physically, but just like stressful. Like it was a stressful relationship with the drama I had to deal with. And then my house was going into foreclosure in Richmond. So I was in the midst of, figuring out where I was going to live, where I was going to go. There was a lot going on. I was very unhappy. I was dancing for two professional dance companies in Oakland, and I just needed some happiness. I was always partying. I was a party host for a couple years at that point, and it just wasn't what I wanted to do the rest of my life. And so I noticed that I was really taking advantage of drinking. Like I would drink all the time. And it wasn't until, I didn't realize this started to be a problem until I realized I was always coming home drunk. Like I'm just being real with everybody. Like I was coming home like just wasted. And so my mother would always like yell at me, like, what are you doing? Whatever. And I just realized at that point, like I was trying to mask so much, like by drinking and smoking all that stuff. So I needed to change. So I started following Patrick back. And I noticed that he was real positive, and there was like a lot of positive stuff on his page. Like I'm sure all of us before Herbalife are so used to, a lot of negativity, regardless of if we recognize it or not. There's all these negativity, and it's not until you start doing positive things or having a more positive mindset that you realize, like, I don't want to see this stuff on my feed. You know what I mean? So I noticed like he was always working out. He was always like shouting people out. He was having fun. He was getting people healthy. And at first, I was already like I felt like I was already doing that. So I had a friend named Brett, and I helped him lose 30 pounds. I think it was 30 pounds, 30 or 40 pounds by just telling him like what to do. And this is before Herbalife. So everybody always came to me because I was the athlete. I was, like the person in sports. My mom's a personal trainer. And so they're like, he's like, hey, like, what should I do? Like, what should I stop eating? And, things to do in the gym. So I told him, and like 2 months later, he hit me up and he was like, looking great. And I was like, what? I did that. So he was like, he just hit me up like, I wanted to thank you. So that was around the time when I found Patrick. So I kept telling Pat, I'm like, I'm going to hit you up, I'm going to hit you up, I'm going to hit you up. Never did. Like, I don't know how many times I told him. It was a couple times. And so finally, my birthday was last week, obviously, but at that point, my birthday was like the week before, and I had gone through so much in that week. And I was finally at the point where I was like, I'm done. Like, I need something. I need a change in my life. So I ended up finally hitting them up, and I think it was on a Monday. Was it a Monday? Yeah. Something like that. And I was like, okay, I get paid on Friday. I've been working for T-Mobile for 3 years now. So I was working for T-Mobile. So I was like, I get paid on Friday. I was like, I'm down. I'm ready. I'm down. Like, I'm ready to, because I was just tired of wearing high-waisted jeans and pants to cover my little gut I had. You know what I mean? Like, I was tired of that. So I was like, hey, I'm good. I was like, and I want to coach people. Patrick was like, why do you feel like you can coach? Or, what makes you want to be a coach? And I was like, I just feel like I have the ability to naturally help people, and people already always hit me up about advice, like about anything. So I was like, I feel like I can do this. And so I wanted to help people on a massive scale because I was always a positive person in my circle of influence. So I don't think it was even Friday. I think it was like Thursday or something. It was like Wednesday, Thursday. And I was like, I'm ready. Like, forget it. I get paid at 12. Like, let's just do this. Good. So back then, that was when we were signing people as members and not going through the Health Coaching Academy process. So I ended up signing up. And obviously the first thing, no matter what, was getting my results. So I was like, I'm about to go hard, go home. I got a $250 program. Let's do this, right? So I started my program, and honestly, like, I wasn't as consistent as I should have been. And I wouldn't send Patrick my pictures. I'm like, I'm not sending you my pictures. He would always ask me each week. I wouldn't send them. And 2 months go by, still wasn't being as consistent. I would still be in the club, having posting pictures of me and my drink. Patrick would be like, is that aloe or not? And I was like, no. Like, he was on me, so, and I was fake annoyed, but I was like, whatever, like, he's, just trying to help me out. Anyway, 2 months go by, Patrick was like, hey, you need to collage your pictures together, because I hadn't sent him anything yet, right? And I was like, okay. So I was thinking in my head, I mean, you see yourself every day. You don't notice the changes you're going through in your body, or just your mindset, right? So I'm like, nothing's changed. Herbalife doesn't work, like, whatever. But naturally, I was still, I had a really big following on social media already. So people already were asking me what I was doing. I was posting my journey. So if you don't do anything right now, like, post your journey. Like, that's number one. Like, always just consistently post what you're doing. Even though I was still in the club and stuff, people still wanted to know, like, what are you doing? Like, I see you drinking shakes. You're doing this. So in that first 2 months, I did not wear the button. Let me just put that out there, okay? Wasn't wearing the button. So I collage these pictures together, and if you guys have seen my picture on these rap sites on Instagram, that was my 2-month result. So that picture, like, went viral, okay? But it was just, I didn't notice until I put those pictures together. So that's why I learned from that with my clients, like, send me your pictures ASAP. Like, send them to me in my email, okay? Have people email you the pictures. Don't have them text it to you, because who knows, you could lose your messages, lose your phone, and then the clients, they don't keep them because they're like, I'm embarrassed, I don't want to keep this picture, they delete them, right? Mm-hmm. So have them email you everything. Side note. So that's when I was like, oh, okay. And I think my first month I did his senior consultant just with my own order, and then with helping, I think, like one other person, 1 or 2 other people. I honestly right now can't remember who they were. And I think, was it my 3rd month that I hit Qualified Producer?
Yeah, because the 2nd month, that's when your mom was in the hospital.
Yeah. Okay. So my mother, that's another story, but she was in the hospital, so I wasn't really doing much. So my first month, I did 500 volume points. My 2nd month, I barely did like 100, I think. And then my 3rd month, I started really getting back into business and really, really serious. And I think the 3rd month, that's when I met you guys, right? Mm-hmm. So again, I had never met Patrick and Jen. I've had people, I have my uplines texting me all the time. Like, I'm sure you guys can relate to this. People are hitting you up like, hey, this is such and such. Just wanted to reach out to you and let you know, like, I'm here for you, right? So I have these people, mind you, I'm from Richmond, California. I'm not used to people hitting me up. Or like even Sac of the Bay. Like, you're not used to people being nice to you like that, you know?
Right.
So I was like, okay, like one of my uplines, she would text me all the time, and Jen too. She would text me all the time, and I would just reply like, okay. Jen will always invite me down to STS. She'd always invite me down to the club. I always had an excuse. I was full of excuses. Part of the reason why, I mean, I did have school. I wasn't working. I was dancing, but even that, like even whenever I wasn't, I didn't want to go. I'm like, I don't know these people. I don't want to come to Sacramento. I'm not driving to Sacramento. You know, like I just wasn't up for it. I wasn't coachable. Wasn't that coachable, I should say. So Jen decides to do Alcatraz for the first time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they were coming to San Francisco, and I worked in the city. So I was like, okay, cool. We're in an open space. I'll meet you guys. The people around, I don't know them. Like, it's cool, right? So I ended up being cleaned up with them. Jen did amazing. That was the first time meeting them. It was like a really dope moment. And Extravaganza was a week and a half later. So if you guys have worked in corporate, obviously your schedule's already done like 2 weeks before. So I was like, they're like, hey, are you going to Extravaganza? Nacho was there. Nacho and I have been like really close since then, but Nacho and like two other people were there. I think your brother was there too.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, no. I was like, I heard you guys talk about it on the chat, you know, like I'm not going, or the page is I'm not going. And they're like, you gotta go, like Extravaganza, you gotta go to Extravaganza. Like, it's the biggest event of the year. Mind you, I've never been to anything, right? No big club, no anything. We didn't have anything like that in Vegas. So I'm like, oh yeah, well I have work and I'm just not gonna go. And so I think it was Jen or Pat, one of them, but they're like, okay, go to work today and just ask the question. Like, just ask, I want to go to this thing. Would I be able to switch around and get it off? Now, before that, I would have been like, I'm not going. There's no possible way it's going to happen. I'm not going to ask. So write that down too. You never know what's going to happen unless you ask the question or unless you pursue it. So a lot of times we sit there, you know, just with assumptions, like one of the agreements, or, you know, never make assumptions. But we sit there and just think, oh, well, this is never going to happen. There's no possible way it's going to happen to me. But unless you actually ask the question or unless you actually pursue it, like there's no way you're ever going to know. Like, you have no idea what's for you in the future, right? So I ended up asking the question, no problem. It was not a problem. Switching, everything was great. Like, it was a shock to me because I would have never asked. A week and a half later, they're like, you know, if you can get to Sacramento, we have a ride for you in a room. Again, I don't know these people, but I'm like, cool, like, no problem, like, whatever, I'm gonna take a risk, like, take risks, okay? So, got to Sacramento, ended up, you know, going down there with people, again, I didn't know, but we were able to build relationships in that car ride, and got to Las Vegas. It was in Vegas that year, and literally, guys, that event changed my life. Like, I would not be sitting here if it wasn't for Extravaganza. Like, if I didn't take a risk and I didn't say yes and I didn't, you know, just take the chance to ask a question or just to, you know, like, I wouldn't be here. And I really thank you guys for that, because if it wasn't for pushing me, like just ask, you know what I mean? Like, I would not be sitting here. So I went to Extravaganza, 12,000, beautiful, amazing, motivational, inspiring, fine, fit. I've never been around that many people with that, you know, that amount of, like, all those categories. Like, it didn't make any sense to me. Like, I didn't know where I was, didn't know what I was a part of. I'm like, I had no idea, like, really what I was a part of in Herbalife. And I don't think a lot of people really understand that until they come to an event, whether it be Sacramento STS, whether it be Fit Club. Like, people don't understand what we're about until you step into that room, right? So for Extravaganza being our biggest event of the year, that was the first thing I'd ever been to. So imagine not even going to Fit Club, not even knowing what it is, not even going to a training like this or anything, like going to Extravaganza for your first event. Mind blowing. I can't tell you what they trained about. I can't tell you. I remember a couple stories. I remember Style Bell's story. I remember Brian Holyfield's story and Darren's story. And I remember I took a video of it. I remember Heather Schwartz on stage, who I have a very close relationship with now, which I'm grateful for. And like, just all those people I just named, like, it's just crazy, you know, what you have access to. And I love Herbalife because it doesn't matter what pin you're at. people are open to help you. They're open to be your friend. They're open to just like, we're just open to help each other, and that's all that matters. And so I love that about Herbalife. I remember sitting next to Nacho the entire time. Like, I had my computer, I was just going in. Like, I still have all those notes. And I just remember I was just so inspired. Like, Patrick introduced me to everybody. Because I remember at that event, I was like, I'm moving to LA. Like, I'm moving to LA. I tried to move to LA 3 times in the last 3 years at that point, and it just never worked out for me. And it was all for a reason. Because if I would have moved then before Herbalife, like, I would have been on a totally different path. So Patrick introduced me to everybody who's in LA, like, and looking at those pictures, I realized I'm like super close with those people now. And, you know, when I first moved, I forgot who I even met, because he introduced me to like the whole arena, like, you know what I mean? So it was, that was dope. But I was able to establish relationships with our team, and it was much smaller at the time. And it just gave me so much vision. Like, I'm sure you guys have dreams and goals like outside of Herbalife, which is great because Herbalife's going to help support those dreams. But what that event did to me was it gave like motivation for my dreams. Like, I really lost. I didn't have a why at the time. Like, I was just doing what I love, which was dance. But, you know, my dream is still to dance around the world and to be bi-coastal and just to, you know, help people on a massive scale, no matter like if it's through dance or not. So now I'm able to do that through dance and health, right? So I came back, and something I learned there was to write down your goals. So I came home and I wrote down, I will be moved to LA by November, or by December 2013, and I will have a new car by October. So at the time, I was driving a 1994 Saturn Twin Cam, point A to point B car, you know, like, but I loved it because, I mean, living in the Bay, it's easy because you have, you know, transportation, but I was like, I'm getting a new car. So on October 17th, I think it was, I got my brand new 2015 Honda Civic. And I was like, thankful for Herbalife, I'm able to pay my car notes with no problem, because I used to live check to check, right? So with the income I was making and just the vision that I saw to help people on a massive scale, like, it just blew my mind. So I ended up moving to LA in October, earlier than what I have written down. And Redondo had just opened, like, I think a month before. And like, it does, if you guys have been to the Redondo Club, it looks nothing like it did like when we first opened, right? So I'm similar to, I'm sure, this. So I get there and I just meet everybody. I went to my first STS, I think, the following month. And it was like the same feeling I had, like, you know, like amazing, fine, fit people, but it was at like a smaller scale, but it was still like one of the biggest events. So in January, I ended up doing, that was my first month of 10K. Patrick always taught me to have a mid-month goal. So, let me rewind. So, like I said, I wasn't wearing the button 2 months in, right? Mm-hmm. So when I started wearing the button works, okay? So if you're a new person, wear your button. Like, seriously. Like, I'm talking to all y'all on Zoom. Like, because I see it almost everybody in here. Where your button at? I know. Okay. But if you know me and I see you, I'm going to ask where your button at, or are you branded? Okay? So it's so important because, I mean, we have been around for 35 years, but people, like, you guys have to understand that nutrition and fitness is never going anywhere. Like, everybody's always going to want to get in shape. Everybody is going to have to be healthy, right, in order to live longer. So it's never going anywhere. The button may seem embarrassing at first, but I promise you it's my favorite thing to put on. I don't have mine on right now, but I'm branded, okay? So it's my favorite accessory to put on every day, and I put it on every day. So if you don't do anything every day, put on your button. If you're not having a good day, take it off. But seriously, I have Herbalife on the back of my car now. Like, I can't have road rage anymore. So I have terrible road rage, but I can't because I have Herbalife on the back of my car. So this makes me, you know, become more accountable. Anyway, January, it was my first month 10K. My goal was 5K, and Pat was like, "Can you do it? Can you do it by the 15th of the month?" I'm like, "I got this, right? I'm a competitor. I love to compete." So I was like, "I got this." So I hit 5K by the mid-month. He was like, "Cool, let's go for 10K." I'm like, "Okay." So I did it. Yeah.
And I know what 10K means. Okay,
10K personal volume points. All right, so not organization, but personal volume. So I'm not sure what it was in December, but again, I was so fired up from extravaganza and going to STS each month that going to the events like really fires me up every month. Like there's always a point in the month where we're like, I'm sure all of us feel this way. It's like I need a fire to put under my, right? Like I need something to really push me. So you know, my goal was 5,000 volume points. That's what 5K is. So I had, I think January was my first cut as supervisor or second. I'm asking that like you should know.
I feel like it was your second.
I think it was my second cut. Okay, so it was my second cut. So December, I think I did like over 2,500 for sure. And then I was going for 5K. So 5K turned into 10K. And then, sorry, that was World Team. That was my third cut. So in January, it was my third cut after supervisor. And then I ended up going 10K. So that turned me into World Team in the same month. So that was super, super motivational because I was like, wow, I just, changed 2 pin levels in a month. You know what I mean? So anything's possible. Like anything, write that down. Anything's possible. Don't have any regrets, any hesitation. Like just go for it because that's what I did. Mm-hmm. So in March, so February, that's when I hit active World Team. I did 14,000 personal volume points. In March was 26,800 volume points, personal volume. I'm not saying this to brag, I have a reason for it. And in April, went back down to 14K. So at the time, okay, so Patrick had renamed me to Beast, right? And so I was just, looking for beasts on my team. Like I was just looking. I think Jerry calls them studs, right? So I was looking for studs on my team. And luckily I came across a team member who started doing high volume, and then somebody else started doing high volume, and then that team member, his cousin, who's Chuck Up, started doing high volume. He hit supervisor in like 12 days, right? So it was just a duplicatable thing, but I didn't know how to duplicate it. So there's a difference between you, for one, there's one, being coachable. 2, is being able to duplicate what you're doing. So yeah, I was doing 20,000 volume points, but I didn't know how to duplicate it. That was a problem. That's why I'm so grateful for our structure now, because you're able to track where your volume was coming from. I had no idea where it was coming from. I just knew I was big on social media, right? I had no local business, so keep that in mind. And I had a no matter what mindset. Patrick taught me that too. Like, no matter what, I'm going to do this. Like, I had a no matter what, by the 15th of the month, this is going to happen no matter what. And I did everything I could to do that. Now, in those months when I did 14K, 26K, and 14, I was all Herbalife. I had no balance in my life. Mm-hmm. Like, I had no balance. I was doing Herbalife at school. Mind you, I had a full-time job. I was in school, still in school, and I was dancing. So I was doing Herbalife 25/8, like literally. Like I was at work emailing clients. I was in class, like texting people, like not paying attention. So while my Herbalife business started going up, everything else started going down. I was always a high volume person in my store. Those numbers started going down. I stopped dancing. That's my number one passion. So I was 3. Remember, like I stopped dancing. Didn't even realize I stopped doing it. I was in class. My grades were going down. I'm a good student. So you know what I mean? So there's a different, like you have to find balance in everything that you do. Yes, we are all in love with Herbalife. Granted. But all of us had passions before Herbalife. All of us have other responsibilities. We have kids. We have class. We have school. I mean, well, not the same thing. But we have work. You know what I mean? Like, we have responsibilities. So from that, I will let you know to always be present in whatever you're doing. If you're at work, be present with work. If you're in class, be present with class. If you're, working out, cool, talk to people. But, like, just be present in whatever you're doing, and don't, like, overindulge yourself with your work, because then it's going to turn into something that you're not going to love anymore. So I think it was in April so it was that last month I did 14K. I had a breakdown. I hadn't been sick in a while, and all of a sudden I got really sick. I was in the house for like 4 days. Like, I couldn't do anything, and I should have brought it. But there's a picture of me on the couch on the phone with client, sick as a dog. Like, Steven took a picture of me. He was like, "You're ridiculous." Like, and even relationships, I would always be with him, but I wasn't present in our relationship because I was always working. We have the same job, you know what I mean? But we're always, so it's really important. Like, I can't stress that enough. So I was sick for 4 days. I completely stopped doing everything. Like after that day, like that first day, he was like, "Nope, turn your phone." I was like, I was so sick, you guys. It was ridiculous. And I thought I was gonna have to go to the hospital. I went to the club on Thursday. We had wellness workshop, and when I got there, I was timekeeper. I had a role from the following week, so maybe from the previous week. So I timekeeper, and a couple of our sidelines that came up to me like, "Hey, oh my God, how you been?" Whatever, and gave me a hug. And as soon as somebody touched me, I started crying. And I didn't know why. Like I broke down. Like, and I hate to show my emotions. These two know that. And so I walked to the front, and Jerry saw me, Jerry Graham, and he was like, "Sibet, come here." And so he pulled me outside, and he was like, "What's up? Like, what's going on with you?" And I was like, "I don't know." I said, I don't know. Like I said, I feel so overwhelmed. And I was like, I said, I was just sick for 4 days. I couldn't think that I couldn't work. Like, I said, I'm just overwhelmed. And he was like, well, like, if you constantly do 15K a month, like, you're going to be drained. Like, you're going to be burned out. Like, it's obvious you're only doing Herbalife, which is great, but you don't have any balance in your life. Like, if you need to take some time away from the club, like, do that, So I'm like, okay. And that's when I realized in those months too, I turned into becoming more of a manager than a leader. I started managing my team versus leading my team. So I was like, have you guys ever had a manager that was like micromanaging you, like always in your ear or whatever? But the thing with Herbalife, like I was always asking, where's your volume at? Mm-hmm. What's going on? Shut up. What's your volume at?
I didn't know that was coming out.
Like, what's going on? You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't asking how you're doing, how your kids doing, how's your girlfriend, how's your mom? You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't personal anymore. I was just like, what's up? Like, what's going on? And I can say that was duplicated onto me, and I didn't realize it. And so like Patrick said earlier, we were able to establish a relationship after that, because it took me to go through that with my team to realize that, well, this is all I know. Like, this is all I know. So, I just automatically turned into that. And so I was just super, super management mode, like no leadership. So I had a big disconnect with them. And that is when, like, as you guys know, like Madi, like that's like my sister-in-law. And so the fact that me and her weren't cool, I'm just being honest, like me and her weren't cool on that type of level anymore, like that kind of messed me up. So I had to step back and realize, like, what am I doing? Like, what am I not doing? What was I doing before? Like, where do I need to start back from? So I started talking to my team a little bit more and just like apologize to them. Same thing with my clients. Like, I'm sure there's a time when all of us, feel like we're not as being the best coach that we can. And sometimes we realize, or we're sitting there like, what's wrong with me? Like, what am I doing? And you have to just take full responsibility. Like, look, I wasn't being the best coach in this moment of time. Let me apologize for that. And are you willing to work with me again? So that we can get back on track, on the right path. So that's what I did. All my clients came back. I started to build relationships with my team again, and just really started to be more open. So at the end of May, I found out I was pregnant, and I was like, what am I gonna do? I was happy, but I was like, as far as business goes, like in my mind, like the bigger I got, 'cause I had twins. The bigger I got, I was like, who's going to want to talk to me about Herbalife? Who's going to want to talk to me about health and fitness? I'm walking around with a basketball in front of me. Like, So that was the time we were doing chips and everything, and we were doing, like, invites and being accountable for each other, and, like, we have to be 10 invites a day, and this and that. So I was getting really discouraged, and at the time I had moved about 80 miles away from Redondo and work. So I was just super, like going through it. Like, I had to drive 80 miles every day back and forth, 80 miles in one trip. And so that was tripping me out because I was exhausted. Being pregnant, working, still doing my business, and like going from work and like all that stuff, I was exhausted. So I became really, really discouraged with invites. So I had to figure out what tactic am I going to use to still build my business, but it's going to put me in a more comfortable place, because obviously I wasn't going to get encouraged to do it, until after I had my kids. So I was like, well, I need to really get back to social media. I pulled away from social media because I was trying to build a local business. So I got back on social media, and before that, I had a talk with Tim Hendricks. And Tim Hendricks, what is he, 20K?
15, I believe.
15K executive president team member. And he was at Redondo, and I had a conversation with him, and I was like, look, I'm really discouraged right now. I need some type of pep talk. And he said, what's your why? And it's funny because before I got pregnant or found out I was pregnant, I was searching for a new why. My original why was to influence my family, to get healthy, to get in shape, to stay in shape. When I started working out, they would all go to the gym. When I moved to LA, they stopped. So I was like, I want to do this because I want everybody to live a long life, right? And because I was so Herbalife all the time, I didn't want to talk to you unless you were on a program. Like, I would talk to my mother every day when I first moved to LA. And then we like would talk once a week, and then it got further than that. And like I would have an attitude with her on the phone, and I've always had an attitude problem with my mom, but she was just like, "What the hell is wrong with you?" Like, you know. And my brothers, like my brothers and my sister. My sister wasn't like that, but my brothers were like, "All you talk about is her." Like, I don't want to talk to you. You know what I mean? So keep your relationships. Love everybody where they're at. Not everybody's going to want to start immediately. It took my mom almost 2 years. Well, it took my mom for me to leave the house with my shakes for her to want to start her program. My brother is like, my brother above me, he wants to start now, which is a miracle. You know, like not everybody, especially your family, like not everybody's going to support you in the beginning. Everybody thinks it's a cult, it's this, it's that, like whatever, you know. But just be patient with people and still keep your relationships with your family and your friends and whoever it is that's not in Herbalife yet. Because, I mean, honestly, some of them may never be, but some of them will eventually. But as long as you continue to be you with them, like, you're not going to lose that friendship. Mm-hmm. Like, you don't want to look back, your chairman's club, you look back at your family, your friends, I don't care, like, after world, wherever you are, like, wherever you want to be. And you're like, where did this person go? You know? And it's like, because you were so Herbalife, you've been tapping into your friendships and relationships before it. So he was like, what's your why? And because my family wasn't as supportive, I didn't really have one until I found out I was pregnant. So I was like, my kids, like, I'm having twins. Like, it's not one, it's two. Like, geez, like, I really got to work now. Like, it's no, like, I got to work. Like, no, like, it's no excuses, you know? And I had that no matter what mindset still, but I just was trying to figure out how to go about it, how to put action into it. He was like, get your sonogram, your ultrasound, put it by the door before you walk out the door, and look at that every day. Because that's going to remind you why you're walking out the door, to do your invites, to do whatever. Like, if you're discouraged now, you're going to look at those kids in your stomach, and you're going to be like, you know, I need to go do this no matter what. I don't care how I'm feeling, you know? So whatever your why is, whatever you're going for, whatever reason that you're in this business, whatever, for having financial freedom, having whatever you want, like, Herbalife is the vehicle to get you there, but you have to remember why you're doing it, because it's so important. Like, it's so easy for us to sit here like, why am I doing it, like, why am I doing this? Like, why am I going to Fit Club? You know, like, if you lose your drive, it's easy for you to quit. And I'm telling you guys, do not quit. Like, I cannot stress that enough. Like, I don't care. You're gonna go through winters. You are. Like, you're gonna go through winters. You're gonna have bad months. You're gonna feel like you're the worst coach in the world. Whatever. Like, you're gonna go through it. Everybody goes through it, but don't quit, because you don't want to be a 5. You don't want to be a 5, okay? I know. I'm gonna tell you. Basically, you don't want to be the person who drops out of the business, and your downline becomes Active World Team, Global Expansion Team, 2.5, Millionaire Team, 7.5, President's Team, 15K, 20K, 30K, 40K. You don't want to be that person who dropped out. You're losing all that earnings, right? You don't want to be that person. Like, don't quit. I don't care how hard it gets. Call me. I will talk you out of it. Like, I'm telling you, like, you don't want to be that person. So I got encouraged again. My mindset changed, and I revamped my why. And I was like, I know what my why is, but now I really have to put action into it. So I realized that I need to take however I look right now. I don't care if you're not at your goal weight. That's cool, no problem. We're always gonna have a new goal to reach. I don't care where you're at. Your story is gonna change somebody's life. Okay, my story, my body, whatever, it's not gonna be the same as yours. It's not gonna be the same as AJ's. It's not gonna be the same. I'm not gonna attract the same market. So I'm sitting here like, who am I gonna attract now? moms. I'm on my program my entire pregnancy. I documented my journey. Document your journey, okay? Like, I documented my journey my entire pregnancy. I stayed on my nutrition program. I only gained 45 pounds with twins. Women gained 80 pounds with one, okay? So that was one thing. And I just was like, cool, I got this. So I was being consistent. I was doing 5 posts a day without our challenge. Like, I was doing that, like posting my results, posting my shake, posting this, like my snacks. Like, people didn't realize you can do it while you're pregnant. They all think it's a diet program, right? So I changed my mindset, and I opened up a new market for pregnant moms or soon-to-be moms, and then also new moms or moms who've been moms for 3 years and still need to lose their weight, right? So my BMO until birth was to do at the minimum 3 wellness evaluations a day. At that point, I went on leave, and I was like, I'm at home. I don't have anything to do. I have to work. So in between my naps and stuff, I would do 3 wellness evaluations a day, no matter what. And my binder. I created this thing. So Chuck and I worked together as well to create this. And so every day I would have, these are people who didn't start, but no problem. They're on their Think About It program still. So I would have this binder, and I would have, like, these are all, like, the wellness profiles who haven't started yet, but I would do 3 of these a day, no matter what, okay? So if you don't know how to do a wellness profile, no problem. Get with your upline, go do a 3-way Zoom call with you, like, or meet them here at the club, like, no problem. So I was doing that, which made me become more accountable, and it made me become a better coach. So I created this with Chuck, and I had created like a lot of different things. I took a lot of things from like our files on our page, and then I ended up creating a group me. So at Extravaganza, Khalil Blakey had went over the wellness profile and went over his 4 agreements. So I started using the 4 agreements, which is preparation, consistency, commitment, and follow-up. And that made me become more aware of following up, because I was terrible at follow-up, you guys. Like, follow-up, fortune is in follow-up. You guys always hear that, right? Like, follow up with your clients. Like, follow up with your potentials. Keep something like this. I don't care if it's a spreadsheet. I don't care what you have, but have something that's not just in your phone, written down, because then you can follow up with people. So on these, for example, I had get into that later. So I had like a sticky note. So I would have the date of the next time I talked about that person and why they, whatever their why was that time, right? Whatever excuse it was, no problem. Okay, cool. I followed up that person, no answer, like whatever. So I kept a list. So that way, I also had a follow-up system in my phone. I have an emoji system, I call it. So if I talk to somebody already, they would have a think about it sign, right? So they're thinking about their program. If I hadn't talked to anybody about their wellness profile yet, I would have like a face that kind of resembled a sad face or whatever. Like just little things like that. And then my clients, after clients, had a green heart. You know what I mean? So just so I can easily go to somebody without having to look at this all the time. So that was helping me with that. I got the idea of GroupMe from Nick Favola back in Redondo. Global expansion team member, created a GroupMe with all my clients. So that way I had a bubble they can be in, because not everybody has Facebook or wants to have Facebook. So I created the GroupMe. That way I can plug into, GroupMe all the time, and I have them post their meals, their shakes, their snacks all day. Like whenever you have it, I post it all day. And I also have them post their meal log each night. So before they go to bed, I have them do that. That way I don't have a million text messages, you know what I mean? But then also people can get ideas from other people, like, oh, you eat this, like, oh, that looks good, you know what I mean? So it's creating another circle of influence. That way, we all know whenever you start a new healthy active lifestyle or anything, your immediate circle of influence isn't as supportive, right? Like they're all doing the same things you were doing before, the same things you're trying to get out of, you know what I mean? So that really helps. And it took a while for it to be popping like that. Like first, it was like 2 people who were consistent. But then when they're like, okay, coaches is about to have kids. Like we got to get this together. And I told them, like, I really want you guys to hold each other accountable. So like, this is your family. Like, I think one of my clients started calling it Fit Family. So I'm like, this is your family. Like you guys have to look out for each other. Like, hold each other accountable. I didn't assign accountability partners or anything, but I just have them really like hold for each other. And so it really became like a little family. Like, they're in all different states. You know what I mean? Like they're everywhere and they know each other because of this group. So I had started that. Khalil came back to Mega. Love Khalil. He introduced Boxer. Now my team and I use this often. Like we're always on Boxer. Talk to Pat all day, every day. With everybody. And you can create group messages on Boxer. Madi ended up creating a group message for her clients on Boxer. That was so dope to me. And I use Boxer to follow up with clients instead of I used to always text people. Stop texting them. Stop texting clients. I'm telling you. Download Boxer tonight. Hit your clients up. Like, look, I found a new way for us to communicate. Are you willing to download this application called Boxer? That way we can hold each other more accountable. And that way, you can hit me up whenever. Boxer is great because you're able to leave a message. It's a walkie-talkie application. So you're able to leave a message, and then I can get to it at my convenience. I may have to feed one of the twins. I have a lot of stuff going on, but I know that they can hit me whenever they need to. They're in different states. I have people hitting me at 3 o'clock in the morning, no problem. At 6 o'clock, you know what I mean? So Boxer was good, and that really changed my business. Like, if it wasn't for my follow-up being a lot better, even with members on my team, like, Boxer changed my business. And I told Khalil this after Tab promotion at Andrew Coleman's house the other day, and it gave me chills. Like, I'm so serious, you guys. Like, communicate with your clients. Stop texting people. Get that out the door. Like, stop texting people unless it's like, okay, like, I text people on Ruby or on Boxer, you know what I mean? Like, if I have to text you, but really, like, calling them up, like, it creates a whole nother relationship. Doing in-house follow-up, like, just really get uncomfortable. Like, get comfortable with being uncomfortable, period. Like, write that down. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable, okay? So this binder was dope, and it still is, because here with my active clients, I have people who, their wellness profile, I have their follow-up schedule. So I have, like, the dates and, like, their measurements and their weight, et cetera. On some of them I don't have this, but the order dates, I have their order dates written down. I have a calendar right here that has, like, my coach mentor sessions and my client mentor sessions somewhere over there somewhere. But, like, this just really tackle, like, having something that you can literally write down, like your whiteboards, your blackboards, like, whatever it is, right? So, funny story. So, that was my DMO every day. I would check this every day. I still do. I would do my 3 wellness profiles a day. And then when I went to my doctor's on a Monday. I had a feeling that I wasn't going home that day. So I had 3 wellness profiles scheduled that day, right? So I was like, okay, cool. Like, my contractions aren't that far apart. I can do this. No problem. Like, true story. I cannot make this up. So I get in my gown, my little hospital gown, and I'm sitting on the bed, and I'm like, Steven, pass me my folder real quick. I'm like, I gotta do these real quick. So the girl calls me, and I'm the doctor, the nurse is talking to me, so what that. So I was like, I'm gonna call you back. I'm in labor. I'm gonna call you right back, right? So Steven passed me my folder, and he was like, it's not gonna happen. He was like, call somebody. Call whoever and have them do it for you. I'm like, no, babe, I have to do this. Like, I gotta do it. Like, he's like, no, you're about to have kids. Like, just call somebody. So I'm like, Pat, bruh, hey, what you doing? Nothing. What's up? So I'm in labor, and I have 3 wellness evaluations to do, and I have a third line member who needs to be, talked to. I'm like, can you do it for me? He was like, Sibet, stop worrying about Herbalife and go have your kids. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna text the numbers right now. Like, call this person right now. Like, her thing was like 20 minutes ago. Like, call it right now. So anyway, he took care of that for me. So really utilize your Prime. Side note. No, but seriously, and really, like, I don't care what you have going on. I don't care how many things you have going on. I don't care if you're in school, if you have work, if you have kids. I don't care if you have soccer practice. I don't care what you have going on, but really, like, you can utilize your day. Like, you can take advantage of your day. You can take advantage of the hours in your day. You don't have to make big sacrifices, but you can use your time wisely. And that's what Suzanne Morrow said a couple weeks ago. Like, you can use your time wisely. Like, you can really utilize your calendar. You can utilize the hours in your day and just take advantage, So after after I had the kids, I obviously wasn't going to be on GroupMe and stuff like that. I had 2 of my coaches in the GroupMe chat. Utilize your sidelines, utilize your downline and your uplines. I had the 2 coaches on the GroupMe chat just help me out. You know, like if anybody had questions, like help you out. I had clients who have been clients for like over a year answering other clients' questions. You're about to be a coach. Like, no matter what do you like? It was just mind blowing. Like, so it was just dope because I got to see like who would step up as a leader. And after that, after a few weeks, I started to settle back in and get back to my DMO. I've been out of work since November. I'm going back next month, and really having this binder, really utilizing my time, really still being coachable, listening to my upline still, doesn't matter what ping you are. Yeah, I just think Goldbook's next to me.
Yeah.
We did. My team and I just did take Goldbook's next to me. It's not about you. It's about your team. And what I realized was, as soon as I had the kids, the next month we went into our first cut. Now, really quickly, last August we were going for our first cut. Patrick was like, I never heard anybody going for the first cut, but whatever, go ahead, right? So my team, I was still kind of in that management kind of mode, but my team was pushing for a first cut. And we were short like 250 volume points, I think. But it was good because you guys need to let things happen organically. And I didn't push for anything in February. We hit our first cut in February. We hit our first cut in February, and I've noticed by tracking, this works, by tracking every day where I was, where we were in our organization, that we were on track for first cut. And it was just because I was focused on my team. I was focused on helping my team get to where they wanted to be. Focused on Madi's cut, and Tashi's cut, Amanda's cut, and Chuck's 5K cut, and trying to get him to active world team. And, you know, like, I'm focused on all of my qualified producers and senior consultants. Like, even it doesn't matter. Like, I was focused on getting them there, and before I wasn't. So for me, back in August, really being focused on, oh, well, I need to hit my first cut again. Like, I need to do this. You know, like, it was all about I conversation. There was no we. It was no us, you know, and that changed when I started to really, really focus on my team. Now, if you focus on your clients and your team and getting to them where they want to be, you're automatically going to get to where you want to be. It doesn't matter. It may take 2 months. It may take 2 years. It may take 5 years. It doesn't matter. But if you focus on other people instead of yourself, you're going to get there. Okay. So we hit our first cut in February, and I didn't know this, but they were all already working together because they saw that we were almost on the way. And the second cut came easy as well. And then last month, it was kind of slow in the beginning. And I realized that people were just kind of letting their distractions get to them, and not overpowering their distractions or not overpowering their excuses. Okay. So with that, I will say, like, always be on top of your distractions and your excuses. Like, never let anything come in between you and whatever you want to do. Like, if you have a goal and, I don't know, your best friend and you aren't friends anymore all of a sudden, or this happens and you got BD issues, I don't care what you got going on. Like, I'm just being honest. Like, you stay focused on what you want to do. Like, you stay focused on your goals for the month. Like, every month at EOM or the morning of, like, write out your goals for the month. Like, if you're going for 2,500 volume points, go for 4,000. That way you're automatically going to blow through 2,500 by mid-month, because you know you have to hit 4,000. I don't care if you did 500 volume points last month. Like, you can do this, you guys. Like, anything is possible. Anything. I went from 2,500 volume points in December to 10,000 next month. You know, like, again, I'm not saying it to brag, I'm just letting you know anything in your mind is possible. Like, if you can conceive it, like, you can achieve it, period, right? So, like, my team, like, I noticed that now we're like so much of a family. We talk every day, right? We talk all day. 3 o'clock in the morning, Cardell's like, I don't get tired. What's up? Like, you know, like, bruh, Cardell, go to sleep, bruh. But anyway, like, it's dope to me. And, like, and our family's growing, and the team is growing, and we're taking really utilizing sideline relationships and upline and downline, and, like, really treat everybody in your circle, in your downline, in your client base. I don't care if you don't have a member group. Like, treat your clients like family, because they're gonna stick around. And who knows? Like, your next client can be your next president's team member. Mm-hmm. You know, like, I want my team to be above me. I want Chuck and Marty and Amanda to be presenting before me, you know? And that's the kind of drive and that's the kind of mindset you have to have, because I promise you, if you get people to where they want to be, and I can't stress it enough and say it again, you're going to get to where you want to be, period. So with that and everything, that's just my journey. I would just say, like, find out what you're good at, whether it be invites, whether it be social media. Like, yeah, social media is a tool. I'm not saying solely use that, but find out what you're good at and really, like, find 3 things you're good at, actually. Find 3 things you're really good at, and then really, really take charge of the first one and get better at a second and third. Okay? Like, you really need to have multiple ways to tackle your goals. Be coachable. I don't care what pin you are, you still have a coach. I can honestly say that I haven't asked Patrick what I should do for my next result, but I will. Okay? Like, really be coachable. Respect your uplines. Respect your downlines. Yeah, they're your downlines, but I mean, Chuck is like 4 years older than me, but I respect him. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter what age they are, what size they are, where their mindset is at. You can never compare your day 1 to somebody's day 50. Mm-hmm. Like, I know where I was in my first 2 months of the business. I know where I was my first 6 months of the business, mindset-wise. I can't compare my mindset now, because trust me, I've changed a lot. You can ask these two. Like, I can't compare where I am now to where a new member, a new senior consultant is, or a supervisor is even. Like, you can't do that. You can't compare I don't care if me and Ryan start the same day. Like, she can't compare her journey to mine, because we have 2 totally different journeys, period. You know? I'm just using her as an example. Whatever your passion is, whether it be dancing, whether it be basketball, whether it be going to the gym, I don't care. Whatever your passion is, whatever your passion was before that, identify that and then blend it into your business. So if you want to start a dance fit, no problem. If you want to, you know, if you used to go to the studio, keep going to the studio. Okay. If you go to classes, like, consistently go to classes. Be that Herbalife person in those classes. Be that Herbalife person at the gym. Everybody's gonna be like, oh, people are watching you guys. You know what I mean? Like, they watch you every day, whether you know it or not. If you stop going to the gym, or you stop going to that class, or you stop wearing your button or wearing Herbalife shirts or whatever, like, they're gonna notice. Like, there's somebody waiting to ask you about how to lose weight or how to gain weight, like, every day, but they're just scared to walk up to you. Wherever you are, Target, I don't care, wherever you are out on the street, say hi to 10 people. Like, if you're not comfortable with invites, like, just say hi to people, because that's going to open up lines of communication. A quick example, I was at Target. I was just like in workout gear or whatever. I'm like 8 weeks postpartum, and I was branded T, like, stay branded. That's me, stay branded. Your regular clothes, brand that shirt, like, for real, like, just stay branded. But I said hi to this lady. I went into the aisle. And next thing I know, she followed me. She was like, do you sell Herbalife? And I was like, well, I'm a health coach. I was like, I customize, you know, programs for people. I hate saying I sell things, because we don't. And she was like, she was like, well, I'm looking to lose like 40 pounds. Instant. Say hi to people. That's all you got to do. If you're scared, work off of that. Turn that nervous energy into excitement, okay? Like, whatever you're nervous, like, change your mindset. Like, I'm hella excited. Like, I'm dope. I'm just, you know, fired up, right? And last thing I'll say, and the last action step will probably be to just believe in yourself, plan out your goals, like, not just for the next month, for the next 6 months. Where do you want to be in the next 6 months? Where do you see yourself in the next 9 months? And not just for Herbalife, but just in life in general. You see yourself in a new apartment. You see yourself having a new car. How are you gonna get to those? How are you gonna use Herbalife to get to those things? So, and lastly, just have fun, guys. Like, this is such a fun business. I never knew this even existed. I didn't know this thing could even exist. Like, who knew Herbalife existed? You know, like, yeah, okay, it exists, but healthy active lifestyle is new. Like, it's only a couple years old. Like, Herbalife 24 is new. It's a few years old. Like, we have so many resources. We have big clubs here in the bank. Like, we have so many resources. Like, really tackle your resources and just take advantage and just have fun with your journey, trust yourself, love your journey, love yourself every day. You need a kick in the butt, hit me up because I will give it to you. And I love y'all. So thank you for having me.
Yeah. Where did that come
Before we done, let's get those Q&A right quick. So quick 5-minute questions and answers.
We're not leaving. We're not going anywhere. We're sitting back down.
So I know you say you use like social media, like and you said you do 3 wellness evaluations a day. Like, how do you use social media, and how are you even finding the 3 people to do the wellness evaluations with every single day?
Okay, well, now that I'm not at home all day, it's 1. So let me make that clear. But how I was doing that before, I would just make sure I would post like just like we just did with the challenge, a variety of stuff, a positive quote, some results, whether it be mine or, like always get a new result. Remember that, like you always have to keep getting a new result. But I would just post somebody's results, like maybe like how, like it's not always what you say, it's how you say it. I mean, obviously on social media it's kind of different, like you're gonna perceive it however you want. Like put hella exclamation points. Like I don't care, you know what I mean? But I just I would schedule, like Khalil had taught us to be make people be aware of your time. Like make people, want your time. Like your time is valuable. So whoever would hit me up, sometimes I really didn't utilize this a lot, but sometimes I would hit people who constantly like stuff. I would put like on Facebook, like who wants to lose 10 pounds today? Or I mean not today, but like in the next 2 months or something. Just putting little things like that. And I would constantly check my emails. So I would always schedule people for time. Like, okay, are you available tomorrow? At this time, etc. Now that I have kids running around, I can't necessarily schedule a time. And I'm like, what time frame are you available?
Yeah.
Right. So I always know like a day before how many people want to talk to me this day. Excuse me. So like I said, that was my goal. I may not have hit it each day. So I'm not saying that every single day was 100% wellness evaluations. But I made sure that I put myself out there enough, or, just really put things out there enough in order to get people to ask me questions. And like, hey, well, yeah, like if I always ask them on a scale from 1 to 10, how serious are you about reaching your goals? And that way, I'm not on the phone wasting my time. Okay, so I'll just ask them that question, and then we'll schedule a time, and then we'll they'll either call me or they don't. If they don't, no problem. I'm not going to chase you down for results. Does that answer your question?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Nice question.
Don't be
The only
scared.
other questions, I got questions. So when you did 14, 26, and 14, like what was your, like I know you ended up getting like overwhelmed, but like how were you, like was it just like a lot of clients? Was it like a lot of coaches volume? Like what did your volume look like at that time?
I can't honestly say because I didn't really know where it was coming from, but I know that I was on the phone all day. I was emailing people all day. Like I was constantly talking to people, and I can say that in those 3 months, I mean, I did have a lot of members too, but again, at the time we were just sign up people, right? So I do have a lot of zeros in my business right now. But I know that I was constantly talking to people all day. I didn't care who it was. Like somebody about to get on the plane. Like I don't care. Like but at the same time, I was getting so many clients that I wasn't attentive to all of them. So I was losing them too. People would start, or people weren't really serious, and they would start, and they would just fall off, and I wouldn't follow up with them. So from that time frame, those 90 days, I really learned a lot about myself as far as the follow up. Getting better at that. As far as like how to get people and keep people, and really being coachable and coaching people, and just really listening to my upline, because at times I wouldn't listen to them. Like I got this, I don't need you, But we came a long way from that.
So now that we're switching into the consumer groups of 20, 40, 60, how are you doing with that? Like your webbing and all that stuff. Does it work better for you now?
Yeah. So I love it because I actually know where it's coming from, like I said earlier. So in the first, I think I did STS, I was on a panel, I think in March. And it was my first time drawing it out. So in March, I had 39 people. I'm sorry. In February, I had 39 people. In March, I had, I think it was 28. And what I do is with my, like I'm checking it every day with my group. So I'm adding people, like whoever orders, of course, you add them on there. So I'm constantly, I'm looking at the previous month and seeing like who hasn't ordered yet or who hasn't rolled over. And that's why the binder thing is so important, because I have to order dates to people. So if you're not ordering by this third week, 3.5 weeks, you're not consistent on your program, you know? So it's worked out for me a lot better, because now I know, like, okay, I'm talking to this person, and they started a program and they're rolling over to this month, but I'm also constantly talking to them. So that way I'm getting to know them in the inner circle of influence. So I'm getting referrals from them. Mm-hmm. So I have like 3 people who are not clusters of people, because their sister, like if you focus on your clients' results, they're gonna get some results, and people are gonna notice them. But you have to ask who's noticing your results. Oh, my mom, my sister, my coworkers. Like, cool, get me on the phone with them. Let's work. Like, let's find somebody to hold you accountable too. Like, let's find like let's help other people. Like, help me help other people. You know. So it's been working amazingly.
All right, so let's get a few more questions, Jen.
What are the top 3 things you would tell a brand new coach, like to put into action, or just tips you would give them?
Write down 15 people that you want to get in shape or want to help out, and call them right away. Get your own result. So really focus on if you could get, like I tell my clients all the time, find a 90-day goal picture. And if anything was possible, I don't care how much you weigh, I don't care how much you don't weigh, you know, like find a picture of somebody who resembles the body you want in 90 days. If anything was possible, because it is. And go for it. And then every week I have them collage a picture next to each other. And the third thing I would say is just have fun with it. Don't take it too serious. And with having fun, like, again, it's always about how you say things, not what you say. You don't have to know every single ingredient in Formula One. You don't have to do it. You don't have to know it. It doesn't matter. But what matters is how it makes you feel. So if you're fired up, like, oh my God, this makes me feel so good. I had it in the morning. Takes like ice cream, like they're gonna be like, I need that. Mm-hmm. Like, what? Ice cream in the morning, like I need that, you know? So yeah, it's not about what it is, it's about how you say it.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, so my question is, it's your opinion on something. So I know when you first started, you went to extravaganza.
Yeah.
And that's what got you really fired up, and then, you know, got on your products and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But then I've also heard, you know, you kind of want to know where someone is as far as what their next step is. So in your opinion, get into the events, or kind of like, okay, get them on this profile then, and then results, and then step.
I would always start with results. Start with, I mean, if somebody shows, like, what I do, I always mention the ambassador program to people. I mean, now we call it the ambassador program, it's VIP. But I mentioned that to them in the wellness profile. I always tell them, like, my best clients always get a discount program. You know, and you can earn that. So to answer your question, I would go in order, but I would even mention, like, I went to this really big event, like, you can even use my example, like, fine, fit, amazing, motivational, you know what I mean? Like, people are going to want to go, but I wouldn't just, honestly, I wouldn't spring it on the new person, because I don't want to overwhelm them. You know what I mean? You can mention it and be fired up about it because you're going, right? I don't care how much money you have right now, but go to extravaganza, retail it, go. You guys have to go, period. But, serious. But I would just fill it out. You know what I mean? Like, don't overwhelm them, but just fill it out. Okay.
Okay, so I have 2 questions. The first one is, how do you approach a complete stranger about Herbalife without making it seem like it's kind of a gimmick? And then the second one is, like, I'm trying to get my family on, but it's like everybody wants to know what's in it. And everyone's like, okay, what's in it? I need to know this, I need to know that. And it's just like, I'm the type of person, I'm like, you don't need to know what's in it. You don't get results, but how do you kind of, you know, make them feel comfortable about it?
Okay, first question. Compliment somebody. If you're branded and you have your button on and you have 24 or whatever you have on, like, oh my God, your shoes. I don't care if you don't like their shoes. Your shoes are dope. Where'd you get those from? You know what I mean? Like compliment somebody. That automatically opens up lines of communication with someone. You guys get to talking. What do you do? They're gonna ask what you do. You tell them. And then you can even tell them your result. Like I gained 10 pounds in the last month. Whatever. I don't care what your result is. Let them know. Okay. That's how you do that. I don't work with somebody and be like, I mean, even workout clothes. Workout clothes are the best thing. Like, I'm not gonna be working out. Where do you work out at? You know, that's easy. But like anybody, like a random, like you guys never know who your clients are gonna be. It can be an old person, like I don't know, like a 60-year-old person. Like they probably want to get in shape. They probably want to lose a little bit of weight. You never know. Like talk to everybody. Second question. I mean, I'm like, oh yeah, it has this in it, it has that. Like I'm like, it's made from soy protein. It gives me a lot of energy, and it has me in the best shape of my life. Like I feel you as far as people wanting to know. Like we have a website. You can go to my website. You can actually look at the label if you'd like to. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you all the ingredients. I don't even know all the ingredients. I don't care. It's like, look at me. I had twins 3 months ago. Like I don't care what's in this thing. Like you know what I mean? But knowing that it's a nutrition program and not a diet program, that should be all that they need to know. Because a lot of people are so used to doing diet programs, it's gonna boost your heart rate, do this, do that. Like, no, it makes me feel amazing and I look great. You know, so if that helps. Okay.
One online. So Tiff said, do you ever feel that sorry, I'm trying to put it into you and I'll just read it to you. Does she ever feel that what she can do is enough now that her free time is limited? Being a mommy, how do you cut the guilt of being away from your kids when at work and the guilt of being with her kids while not at work?
Okay. Well, so I'm not at work yet. Technically, I'm not back in corporate until next month. So that's all going to change for me. But what I can say going forward is you have to make sacrifices now in order to have what you want later. So Jerry says this all the time. Like you're going to be here for, like you're going to sacrifice. But I know earlier I said like don't make sacrifices. You know, make wise decisions. But all of us have to work. Like all of us got into this business in order to have financial freedom, but we all know it's not going to happen tomorrow, right? So just know, like, obviously, Tiff, I know what your why is and who your why is. So just keep that in your mind and just know, like, I'm doing this right now so that we can have the life that I want us to have in a couple years. Because trust me, it's coming. Like, Tiff, I know you're gonna be present in like 2 years, maybe like 5. I don't care. Maybe it's 5. But all of us are going to get to where we want, and just to realize that I have to go through this now in order to enjoy life a little bit later, you know? So like, just do what you have to do now, because in a couple of years, like all this hard work right now is going to pay off, period. Like for everyone in this room and online. To answer the question.
What's your reorder conversation with a client instead of just like, hey, you used about that time?
Besides that, no. I usually, it's just being consistent with follow-up, really. Like, if I know, because on my sheet I have day 1, day 7, day 14, day 21, you know? So if I know, like, if I didn't get your pictures last Sunday, then what's going on in your life? Like let's talk. Not about Herbalife. What's going on with you? You know? So just having that really family-based conversation with somebody and not being like, oh, I'm your coach, I just want results, like, and actually seeing where they're at, it makes it automatic. Like I really don't have to have a conversation with a lot of people unless they're just not consistent. And I'm like, so what's going on with you? I'm never like, you know, and then I go into the conversation like, okay, well, how can we get you back on track? You know, like what more support do you need from me in order for us to get you to your goal? So that usually is like, I have people like, you know, honestly, it's just me. I just need to get it together and whatever. I'm going to order it tomorrow. Cool. Automatically. You know, I don't really have to force them to do anything. I'm not going to. Either you want it or you don't, period.
Yeah.
Nice. Any more questions?
Last one. What's the pregnancy plan that you recommend for people? Because I hear a variety.
Okay. I have an email that I got sent from, and I've been sending it to everybody. They're like, what did you do? Thank you again. So what I did was Formula 1 and PDM. I did You can do cellulose because it is a healthy elimination of water weight as long as you drink enough water. So I was drinking about a gallon of water a day. Shazandra in the email, I'll put it on the page. I've been meaning to do that since I was pregnant. I just haven't gotten to it. I've just been sending it to people. Shazandra, I did X-Cal. I did 4-Fiber, Active Fiber Complex. I pretty much did everything in the book except for, this makes it easier, except for Lift Off, Herbal Tea Concentrate, did that, what was it? Total Control, thank you, Prepare, and Nightworks. Those are the only products I did not do. So I did everything else. So honestly, like when I got pregnant, I started doing a lot more enhancers than I did before I did it. Herbalife line as well I did. But we have a whole email, so we'll work on putting that on the page because I've just forgotten to do it.
Nice. Gracias.
That's it? No more?
I mean, I got more.
All right, well, if you have any questions, just go ahead and ask her after this. But all right, y'all, let's go. Let's clap it up for today, y'all. Chuck, back up, bro. I'm trying to get in Cali again.